premise of this video is going to be me talking about something I did at the start of the year, where I've never really been one to keep to what you call them, New Year's resolutions. So I wrote myself a manifesto, because when you leave uni and you don't get a job straight away, and I still don't have one. One thing I've learnt that's really difficult is the idea of structure, because when you're at uni and stuff, it's structure is very much there. It's obviously how you use it. It's up to you, but there's the day-to-day. It's a bit like school in that respect, I guess, and it's about when you leave and you sort of are propelled into the real world. It's about making your own structure. So the idea for this manifesto was it was almost going to act as like a structure for me. So say I was having a really shit day, I'd be like, okay, or sort of not knowing what to do, because for me, I like to have purpose and I make my own purpose, but for me personally, I get purpose through doing and through helping people. But it's really important to not let that be the only thing, because obviously I've still got to look at myself as a person, if that makes any sense. So I wrote them all down. I started keeping a diary and I kept up for about a month, which for me is unheard of. I was trying to write it down for me rather than sharing it all online, which I'm very good at. Which is fine, because it's important to connect people, but it's also important to take a step back and actually do something for yourself. So I wrote down on New Year's Eve, quite intuitively actually, because for me, I'm very bad at facing myself and writing things down pen to paper, because I sort of see it as physical. So therefore I'm like, oh my god, I'm running the opposite direction. But I wrote down a list of, I think it was about 10 in this book, and then there was a little pocket in the back, so it's sort of, it's like a little reminder. So basically this list of points, like manifesto points I guess, were sort of there to act as a structure for me if I was feeling like completely worthless, lack of confidence, or just to give me something to do if I really was completely lost, because I get lost quite easily and find it difficult to build up momentum again. So I'm trying to think what they were. It's really annoying because I wrote them down and I lost the book, which just shows how bloody typical I am. I know that one of them was to walk every day, because for me personally, I love being outside, but I'm very easily swayed just to sort of hiding from the world and staying inside. So to get outside every day, and that's also sort of that's what I'm trying to push myself to do more, because once I've walked or even just like been outside, I feel so much more just alive, but just more sort of in tune with what's around me, rather than sort of being so stuck in your own head. It's really important to shift and push yourself to shift, if that makes sense. And that shift for me is sort of opening the door and stepping outside. One of them was also to draw every day, and I left that as quite tenuous. It meant to sort of draw or write, but also to draw as in reflect. So reflect every day, and that's something I've been doing more. Is actually sort of taking the time to be still and actually sit with my feelings, if that makes sense, rather than sort of feeling sad or worthless or having a lack of confidence and running away from it, almost running towards it. This is something that almost seems quite unnatural to do, but because of that, I'm trying to do it. What else was there? To use my time wisely, that was also one, because again, I'm very good at doing nothing and then doing everything at once. It's difficult to sort of find that momentum with things. I don't know, it's about that idea of balance. Again, I think it was finding the grey area is very much my sort of life, not life goal, it's my goal in this chapter of my life, if that makes any sense, because I'm someone who is very do, nothing, bed. So it's really hard for me to, but talking through and doing these sort of things really does help you see that. I will find the rest of this manifesto things, and I'll probably put it in a post or something, because I think it's really important to talk about something you said that you will do, you know, whether you stick to it or not, and how you have and why you perhaps haven't. But the second half of this video I wanted to be talking about confidence and what that is for me and how it comes and goes and how I deal with it going. For the last week or so I felt, maybe even 2 weeks, I felt really sort of quite stable, quite sort of content. I've set myself sort of boundaries and little targets, I guess, to try and push towards, because on the job front it's so bloody difficult. I just find with things, you jump through so many hoops if you can get to an interview, and then you have to do an assessment day or a task, which is fine, you know, we're trying to filter through, but I know I put so much of myself into what I do, so it's just really hard to, I think I'm quite easily knocked, but then I've been having interviews and things, but I'm still nowhere. I'm not saying I'm not anywhere closer, but it's when someone says, oh, you know, something will stick. I'm trying to believe that, but at the moment when it doesn't, I'm just like, but will it? Will something happen? So that comes back to the confidence thing as well. Like, in the last day or so, it's just going to be completely sort of knocked off the shelf. And I can see that, which I guess is a good thing. You know, it's good to reflect and to actually physically see it rather than be like, oh my god, I'm sad, what do I do? But, I don't know, so I'm just finding ways to build that confidence back up again. And it's hard when, as a person, you don't have much anyway. Or your self-worth and how you see yourself isn't perhaps how other people see you. But it's also, I don't know, I was thinking about this on the bus earlier today, like a lot of it, well, pretty much for me, all of it is in my head. But when that's a constant thing, it's very hard to see out of that. It's very exhausting. But I'm just trying to find ways to build up this confidence again. And with the job thing, when it is a constant thing, applying for them, I mean, and then application after application, you do sort of get stuck in this cycle of stuff. But I don't know, I guess I need to sort of sit back and really sort of think what I want. And through doing this process of stuff, it is becoming a bit clearer. But I don't know, confidence is an interesting thing, how it can be there and then just gone. But yeah, I don't know, but we'll see. Hopefully it will be back soon. Yeah, I don't know, rambly.